Time for another year of videos, but first I want to say thanks once again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. That's right, Squarespace, a leader in the web design industry for over 20 years. Whether you want to show off your interests, start a side hustle, or finally dive headfirst into that new business, Squarespace makes web design easy. Using their AI-powered website builder, you can make your own fully functional professional site. Just answer some simple questions about your personality and industry, and Design Intelligence will handle the rest, creating a completely customized site loaded with all the features you need. And if you change your mind and want to make some changes, Squarespace's Fluid Engine allows you to easily drag and drop elements, all without doing any coding. Plus, if you're trying to sell some products, whether they're handmade or digital, Squarespace has e-commerce tools built right in, as well as an intuitive inventory management system. So if you're somebody who wants to join the thousands of other people who've used Squarespace to make their dreams a reality, just go to squarespace.com/BrandonTenold or click the link in the description and sign up for your free trial. Then, when you're confident your site's ready for launch, use the promo code BrandonTenold for 10% off your first purchase. Alright, let's get into it. Alone in the Dark? That Uwe Boll video game movie? Oh wait, this is a different Alone in the Dark. This one is a 1980s slasher flick. Well, it's probably for the best. It's my first video of 2026, and I don't know if I want to start the year by popping my Uwe Boll cherry. Alone in the Dark is a 1982 slasher movie that isn't very well remembered today, despite having some mild historical importance. It was the first movie produced by New Line Cinema, which had previously only distributed films and would go on to produce the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Speaking of Elm Street, this was also the first film from director Jack Shoulder, who made Nightmare on Elm Street 2 as well as the highly underrated The Hidden. It's also got a pretty noteworthy cast. Instead of hiring young unknowns, this one has a bunch of veteran actors like Jack Palance, Martin Landau, and Donald Pleasence. So how come it's not more remembered? Well, that could be because it doesn't really follow the standard slasher movie formula. So let's dive into Alone in the Dark. So we begin the way any 80s slasher movie should, with Martin Landau entering a diner on a snowy night.
Want to see the menu?
No, I think I'll just have the usual.
I don't know why he's so freaked out. My heritage is Norwegian. This is basically just Christmas dinner at my grandparents' house when I was a kid.
I will cause distress unto men, for they have sinned.
Funnily enough, considering New Line would become famous for making the Nightmare on Elm Street series, this opening dream sequence could almost fit in an Elm Street movie. Just replace Donald Pleasence with Freddy Krueger and have him crack a few one-liners. How about a banana split, bitch? Martin Landau's lucky that was just a dream. He banged Marilyn Monroe with that. Anyway, the premise is that Dwight Schultz is Dr. Dan Potter, a psychiatrist starting a new job at an asylum. Just think, in a year Dwight could have played one of the patients at this place. And hey, look at that, Lynn Shay also makes an appearance in a movie produced by her brother.
I'm afraid you can't see Dr. Bain.
Do you have any idea when I might be able to see him?
You can't see him at all.
Why, isn't he here?
No, he's here.
Then why can't I see him?
Because he's invisible.
I guess the old saying's true. You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. The asylum is run by Dr. Leo Bain, played by... what? Donald Pleasence? No, don't put him in charge of a place like this. You're basically guaranteeing a slasher movie's gonna break out.
I was a little amused by your receptionist, though.
What happened?
Nothing. It was just that when I asked if I could see you, she said you were invisible.
To Melody, I am invisible.
Well, he seems on the up and up. Anyway, let's meet the rest of the Potters.
Oh, God, Dan.
A little bit of crazy glue, and you'd never know this was broken.
Better get epoxy.
Thanks, gender-bent Dennis the Menace. Mrs. Potter does not seem happy with Dan's new job.
I don't see why you just can't have a nice office and treat neurotics like everybody else.
Guess I just prefer psychopaths.
Why do you think I married you, you crazy bitch? Speaking of psychos, in addition to Martin Landau, Jack Palance is one of the patients too. Oh, last time I saw these two together in a movie was Without Warning. Hopefully we get a moment like this. This facility is a little different. Instead of bars, the security relies entirely on electronic doors and windows.
Aren't these men still potentially violent?
What do you expect? It's a violent society.
What's the worst that could happen? They escape and go on a murder spree for 90 or so minutes?
Hey, Leo.
I say, Ray. This is Ray Curtis. Dan Potter. Ray is the floor monitor.
He's gonna be the first one to die in this movie. Palance, Landau, and a couple other guys are housed on the 3rd floor, which is where the most dangerous patients go. And unfortunately for Dan, they don't much like having a new psychiatrist.
Dr. Potter!
Happy trails.
You know, I like to think that that's just how Jack Palance said goodbye to everyone. He also thinks that Dan murdered their previous psychiatrist, Dr. Merton, and convinces the other guys to try and kill him. Not that Donald Pleasence seems to give a shit.
People here aren't called patients. They are voyagers.
And sometimes that voyage leads to murder, but as I say all the time, it's not the destination that matters, but rather all the victims you leave along the way. You know, I kinda like Donald Pleasence's character here. He's sort of the inverse of Loomis from the Halloween flicks. Whereas Loomis was paranoid and insisted that Michael Myers was pure evil and beyond help, here he's a dippy, new agey type psychiatrist who smokes weed from a pipe and says that his patients just happen to be on a different trip from the rest of us, brah. Well, at least the other people who work here seem to be worried.
Hawk says that you killed the last doctor. So they're going to kill you back.
Okay.
So what are you gonna do?
Nothing.
I'm the main character. I'll probably survive till the end. Now, you, on the other hand, you are dead meat, pal. Meanwhile, the Potters get a visit from Dan's sister, Tony, who's recovering from a nervous breakdown. And if you needed more proof this movie's from 1982...
Oh, how are ya? Fabulous. Look at me.
Yeah, you look like a new wave crayon. Speaking of music, Tony invites the Potters to see a show, and on the way we can learn more about the other psychos on the 3rd floor.
What's the bleeder? You remember in the newspaper about 3 or 4 years ago, this guy went around strangling everybody. When he did, he got a nosebleed.
Oh, that's probably why he doesn't like to show his face. He's embarrassed about his deviated septum.
So he's got this other guy's like a 400-pound child.
Okay, so he's like Albert Fish if he was a whale? Anyway, what band are they seeing?
You're really gonna like them. I mean, they have a really good reputation and stuff. They call it the Sick Fucks.
They're a Donnie and Marie cover band. Nah, just kidding. Not bad. They're kind of a combination of the Dickies and Gwar. Anyway, the concert is interrupted when there's a citywide blackout.
Officials at the Farewell nuclear power plant continue to deny rumors that the power failure is due to a malfunction in the nuclear reactor.
Oh, great, now this is gonna turn into a radioactive zombie movie. This also means the security system at the asylum is now disabled, so now the inmates can escape. Damn, I knew we should have installed a backup generator. Stupid budget cuts. Oh, and I wasn't joking about the Black Orderly being the first victim. This guy is dead as shit.
Hey, we're friends, right?
Sure we're friends. Now let's play a game. You be Batman and I'll be Bane. Damn, and that floor manager was just 2 days from getting a new mop bucket. I don't know if this next part is a subtle dig at another slasher movie series or just a coincidence, but their next victim is played by Steve Dash, who was also Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2. Well, all I can say is these guys better not touch Robert Englund if they find him. This entire studio's future depends on him. And turns out this town has more to worry about than the escaped psychos, because everyone uses the blackout as an excuse to go full Woodstock 99. Well, at least this gives them cover to stock up on some killing supplies. And whoa, what are you doing? Hockey masks are Jason's thing. Weirdly enough, this was released the same year as Friday the 13th Part 3, which was the first one where Jason wears the hockey mask. If this had only come out a few months earlier, they could have beaten Jason to the punch. Seriously though, some of the kills here do feel pretty Jason-ish. I hope you like that kill, because that's about as gory as the movie gets. Anyway, Hockey Mask Guy splits and the rest of them steal a van. And remind me again, what movie am I watching?
Are you afraid of the dark?
That's not the title.
When I was a little kid, I was scared to death to be alone in the dark.
There, that's more like it. Now you'd think the rest of the movie would take place in one night during the blackout, but No. It cuts to daytime pretty quickly. Of course, that doesn't mean these guys can't still do some killing, like when they terrorize a mailman. Alright, that seemed like it was straight out of a slapstick comedy instead of a slasher flick, but at least Martin Landau got himself a new hat, and he knows the Potter's address.
I have a telegram for Dr. Potter.
Well, he's not in. I'll take it.
When will he return?
I don't know. Sometime this afternoon. You want to come back later?
Damn, I practiced my singing for nothing.
You can rest assured I will.
Where do they get these guys from?
Hey, come on, even famous actors go through career lulls every now and then. I mean, hell, Martin Landau was in Babs, and that was after he won an Oscar. Anyway, we got another subplot to get to, which is Tony and Potter's wife protesting a nuclear power plant. Okay, considering there's a blackout and several escaped lunatics on the loose, I think you have bigger things to worry about here. If anything, you should be hoping they turn the power back on. Meanwhile, I see Donald Pleasence is busy reassuring the other patients and showing off his Fat Albert cosplay.
Those men were moving along so well. Now I suppose the authorities will close the whole operation down. The men's violence is a cry of pain.
Yeah, I think their victims were the ones crying in pain there, Doc. And as if the murder wasn't bad enough, Fatso Molesto here sets his sights on Potter's daughter. Oh, you think I'm kidding?
Come on, cutie.
Call me cutie.
Yeah, I figured this guy was a fan of cuties.
How come my mother called you instead of Bunky?
Bunky? I thought she said chunky.
I can show you how to make any kind of thing in the world out of paper.
Good, now make a restraining order and get this guy the hell out of there. And wait a second, these two are in jail now? That was abrupt. Was there a scene missing? Anyway, the mom calls their babysitter to come look after the kid, who thankfully is still fine. Hopefully she made a paper airplane and cut the big guy's dick with it. Bunky'll probably be fine. Babysitters tend to have good track records in these types of movies. And so do their boyfriends.
What took you so long? We've only got an hour now.
58 more minutes than I need, babe. I'll skip the foreplay.
Hold it.
What's the matter now?
Didn't you hear that? I think it came from that closet over there.
Well, maybe it's the cat.
They don't have a cat.
Well, yeah, but it's an 80s slasher movie, so we could still get a fake-out scare where one just pops out of nowhere. Oops, my mistake. Turns out there's a real scare in here. Here's where we get the most memorable part of the movie, so much so that they made it the basis for one of the posters. Look, lady, it could be worse. At least you didn't end up like the cheerleader from the original Thanksgiving trailer. Instead, she just ends up strangled by the big guy, who apparently really lifted this actress off the ground. Despite the babysitter murder, I'm starting to get more concerned with Dr. Potter's behavior.
One of the men from the Haven who escaped was here.
What?
Don't worry, Lila's fine. Actually, Lila said he was very nice. He showed her how to make some things out of paper, then he went away and she took her nap.
Oh, well, I guess it's not a big deal then. This is the weirdest part of the entire movie. Potter knows his daughter was alone for several hours with the guy who, in case you needed a reminder of what he does...
Fatty's trip is to...
grape.
Little girls.
And his reaction is just, what? They made some stuff out of paper. No need to freak out over it. This guy could have Jeffrey Dahmer as a chef, and he'd still be like, well, at least the meat was tender. And what happened to the hockey mask guy?
Tom, this is my brother Danny. Danny, this is Tom.
Hi, Tom Smith.
That's him. Because the blackout's still going, a cop decides to stay at the Potter's house that night. And again, Dr. Potter doesn't seem that concerned with the whole situation.
I know that we're all a little on edge here tonight, but let's take it easy, okay?
Yeah, I know a bunch of escaped maniacs said they want to kill me and our daughter was just alone with a giant diddler. But relax, will ya?
I don't know what's normal anymore.
Not the way you're acting, that's for sure. Even the cop isn't as worried as he should be.
Now, what was that?
Excuse me, folks. Are you sure you don't want a little help looking around out there?
No. Just wait inside.
I'll go take a look. I got 2 days till retirement. Uh-oh, the music just turned scary. Maybe I shouldn't have shown the Potters that picture of my family. I'm sure I'll be fine. Okay, guess not.
What are we gonna do?
Let's just take it easy.
I'm really worried, Dan. This is a very serious situation.
Look, we're all worried, Lila. Sometimes you just have to make the best of it.
Oh, come on, I was joking. Could you look a little concerned here?
I'd rather take a Valium.
I think your dad ate the whole bottle. Seriously, it takes an arrow coming through his window for him to finally start doing something.
I ought to keep him out for a while.
Okay, this looks bad, but the important thing is that everyone remembers to take it easy. Even if Donald Pleasence is playing a somewhat similar role to his one in Halloween, he's a hell of a lot less active here.
Don't you think we should call the police, Leo?
Never.
They'll come back as soon as they remember it's Dino Nuggets night. Eventually he makes his way to the Potter house, and at least he's finally starting to dress a little bit more like Loomis.
The men from the third floor! Out there, Leo!
Great. I'll find them and we'll talk.
Wow, who knew all it took for Loomis to mellow out was a peace pipe full of some fine Haddonfield kush. It'll get you so high you'll be seeing palm trees in Illinois. However, I don't think his plan of talking to the psychos is gonna work. Hey Doc, guess who my favorite painter is? That's right, Van Gogh. If you've ever wondered why more people don't try reasoning with killers in slasher movies, it's because it usually doesn't work.
Remember the 10 Commandments? But God said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
And that's the last we ever see of Donald Pleasence in the movie. Now, if you're wondering why we don't actually see him die, maybe you're thinking the director wanted to be tasteful or they were forced to cut it by the MPAA. No. That's not the reason. According to this Fangoria article from when the movie came out, the effects guy just straight up refused to bring the dummy of Donald Pleasence's corpse to the set, which resulted in Shoulder hiring Tom Savini to complete the rest of the movie's gore effects. Now, as for why he didn't bring the Donald Pleasence dummy to set, I don't know. Hopefully he didn't take it home and use it as a body pillow or something. Well, we already had a guy wearing a hockey mask, so might as well pull another Jason and have somebody hurl a body through a window. And as long as I'm making Friday the 13th references, you know how at the end of the first movie there was that final dream sequence jump scare, where a zombified Jason jumps out of the water? Well, guess what happens here? There's also a dream sequence zombie jump scare. And Tom Savini was responsible for both of them. This is probably the best jump scare in the movie, even if it doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of it. They also find out the babysitter's dead, although on the plus side, they can keep the $10 they were gonna pay her. You'd think with 4 separate killers on the loose, the Potters would really have their work cut out trying to stop them, but surprisingly, they're all taken out pretty damn easily. I guess this makes for an interesting contrast to the usual unstoppable 80s movie killer, but here they're killed a little too easy. They even managed to take care of the giant fat guy without much trouble. Damn, that guy was the villain in a Schwarzenegger movie, and he still managed to not die in that. Although, in fairness, he wasn't playing a diddler in that one, so yeah, probably best that he gets killed here. Dan tries to go for help, and where is that hockey mask guy? Alright, even though I joked about this being him as soon as he showed up, this is actually a pretty decent twist. Too bad he gets put down just as easily as the rest of them. Yeah, now you're really the bleeder, dipshit. Okay, Martin Landau's dead for good now too, so that just leaves Jack Palance. But they're not gonna get rid of him so easily. This guy managed to be badass even in commercials.
Bet you can't eat just one.
Kid, I once went an entire week without breathing.
They're saved when the power not only comes back on, but the TV is tuned to an incredibly convenient news broadcast showing that Dr. Merton is actually alive and well. Boy, good thing they didn't have the channel tuned to that TJ Hooker marathon.
You worked closely with the 4 escaped psychopaths during your time at the Haven, is that correct?
Well, first off, Jim, we really don't like to use the term
psychopath.
We prefer to say terminally knucking futz. So, yeah, this is incredibly contrived and would probably get played for laughs if a movie tried it today. Thankfully, what happens next is a lot less cliche. In a normal slasher flick, you'd expect Palance to still not believe that Dr. Merton's alive, and instead either kill the Potters or they'd kill him. But that's not what happens. You want to know what he does instead? He leaves and goes to a punk club.
It's a $6 cover. Hey, asshole, you gotta pay to get in.
Good work, Jack. A $6 cover charge in 1982 is ridiculous. And the patrons must have thought so too. One girl even looks like she's about to pick Jack up. That is, if he doesn't murder cockblock himself. Good thing she seems to be into it.
You're really there.
Now, some people like to debate whether or not Jack's character killed her after the credits started rolling, but in my headcanon, he totally got laid that night. Despite having a relatively high-profile cast, Alone in the Dark was a disappointment at the box office, only making a little over its production budget back. By comparison, Friday the 13th Part 3 made over 16 times its budget back. Part of the reason for this could be that Alone in the Dark isn't your typical early 80s slasher flick, since there's a lot less emphasis on the kills and gore here. This almost seems like it would have been better off being made in the 70s, where it could have been marketed as a home invasion thriller a la Straw Dogs instead of a slasher movie. It's also a tad unfocused. We have 4 killers instead of the usual 1, and aside from the fact that 2 of them are played by future Oscar winners, there's not much that's particularly memorable or distinctive about them. Still though, it does have a great cast, and I'll give it points for trying to be a little different. Not to mention it's always nice seeing guys like Jack Palance play a psycho. Besides, it doesn't matter if this movie underperformed, because New Line would strike horror movie gold a couple years later with A Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, that's my first video of 2026. Good to be back, and I got a lot more planned. Until next time.
Move your hands in front of your face 3 times. Like that. Yes, and then the intestines will stay inside, and you won't turn to porcelain.